Hi everybody, this is Barry Schwartz. My name is Barry Schwartz and this is a Search Buzz video recap. Today is January 18th. I'm finally back in the office, able to do these high definition videos so you can see my beautiful face, haircut, and no shave in a while. In any event, we have a lot to discuss this week. The first thing I wanted to discuss was that Google denied a Google search update. So I posted yesterday that there seems to be very strong, significant signs of a Google update based off the chatter out there in the world, in the SEO world, and Google denied it. Google said there was no update. Google said specifically, let me quote you: "It's not Panda. We asked around a little bit and didn't uncover any other likely suspects, but remember that Google launches about 500 algorithm changes per year, so there's always a small chance that something's rolling out." There is a lot of stuff going on. Google's saying nothing's going on, or there might be something going on, but nothing Panda related. That being said, the amount of chatter I'm seeing this morning from yesterday from this post is just traumatic, and I really do think that there is some type of update going on. Again, we have a post about this on January 17th. It's the top news item over the weekend, so you can take a look at it by going to sdroundtable.com. We posted earlier this week about a possible update. Typically when I see updates, major updates, I'll post about something a few days before, and then a few days later, something will happen. I don't know if it's Google testing stuff, but it's definitely something going on. Also, major news this week was that Facebook announced their search engine. They call it Facebook's Graph Search. It's not really a search engine per se, it's basically a structured data search, which allows you to search your data, your friends, and all that information within the actual Facebook, walled garden. Specifically, it lets you search things such as your people, photos, places, and interests. Doesn't have events, doesn't have status updates yet. That's going to be coming in the future. But it is very, very cool. Like if I want to go ahead and do recruiting, if I want to find a new programmer for my company, I can say people who have interest in PHP in this area that are a certain age group. If I want to look for a certain age group that are a certain gender, I can be very, very specific. And obviously you can do that with ads, but now you can actually do that, look up people's profiles, and then target them. Obviously they have to allow you to search for them, but most of these people that I'm looking for are open there and allow it. So definitely take a look at their Facebook Graph Search. You can get to it by going to facebook.com/graph search. You have to sign up on a waiting list. It takes a while to get invited. I have a preview into it, so I'm lucky, but it's pretty cool. Finally, after months and months of testing, a couple months of testing, I finally found a screenshot from Google's new image search test. So basically, if you go to Search Roundtable today, you'll see a screenshot of it on the second post down, I believe. The title is Google Image Search Testing New User Interface. The interface is basically when you hover over an image, it takes up the whole screen, or the whole half of the screen, and shows you details of that picture in the larger view. Webmasters are not going to be happy about that because obviously the more information Google shows on their search result page, the less likely is the user to actually click over to your web page, which means less traffic for your website, which means less conversions. There is something interesting on the SEO side. So Google Data Highlighter tool, the tool that you can use to actually mark up your web page's rich snippet content without using HTML, but using a tool to actually mark it up. So that's been out for about a month or so. And we found the case where if you have duplicate content or duplicate URLs, Google might not be able to go ahead and figure out how to use the data highlighter on that. So if you have a www and a non-www and you try to mark up one of the pages that is not in Google's index because it's duplicate content, it will report an error that the URL is not found. So that's an interesting tidbit. Obviously, when you do the markup itself, Google's able to figure it out because you have it all canonical versions of those pages, but it's very interesting to see. Other tidbit I saw was with the Google authorship display. One is we already knew that you need to already have a recognizable photo. That's something that we know, that you can't use your company logo for your photo. You have to actually use a recognizable face photo of you to show up. And the second thing that Pierre Farr from Google said is that the contributor to section of your Google Plus profile, if you have URLs in there, it has to be a proper URL. So you can't have a non-www version if Google indexed the www version. If you are using the author attribute with a non-www version and you linking and using your contributor to is a www version, or vice versa, Pierre Farr says it might not work. Of course, in many cases it does, but in some cases it might not. That's on January 15th if you want to take a look at that. Google also talked about web directories, basically saying why Google doesn't like to index and to rank web directories. Specifically is because they have little content. I quoted John Mueller of Google a whole thing about why he thinks, in most cases, for most business directories, not all, but most, why Google does not index them, and it's all around very little or poor, unique content. Google AdSense is testing, or not testing, but basically came out with a beta of a new feature called Site Management. We talked about this a couple months ago. It wasn't really released fully yet. Now it is. It basically gives you a way to categorize your AdSense ads into site groups. So if you have a website, like I have Search Engine Roundtable, I have my personal blog, I have my company site. If I wanted to categorize the ads into buckets based off a site and then do ad blocking based off a certain site. So let's say the Search Engine Roundtable, I don't mind if ads show up on anything, but if on my personal blog I don't want certain types of ads to show, I can do that now with using the site management tool and doing AdSense site level blocking. Bing has added more Facebook results, 5 times more Facebook results to the social search bar. By that I mean they added status updates to the sidebar, they added share links, they added comments, and also friends photos. That being said, I'm not really sure if many people actually use the social bar. Do you? I'm not really sure. Do let me know. Talking about Bing, Yahoo, when they started becoming powered by Bing, I didn't realize this, but Yahoo Images dropped off some features, including the search for creative comments and also Flickr images. Now Yahoo brought that back, still powered by Bing, but now you can actually find Flickr images and also find filter images by Creative Commons search. So that's a nice little feature they had back, even though they had it since 2007 and 2009 respectively. There is a great interview by Wired Magazine on Google CEO Larry Page. Some quotes I wanted to share with you, just some snippets. Steve Jobs, this is Wired asked him, Steve Jobs felt competitive enough to claim that he's willing to go thermonuclear war on Android. Page responds, how well is that working? Another thing is, Page said on Facebook, but they're also doing a really bad job on their product. He talked about Google Plus. He says they're very happy how it's going, and TGIF, TGIF meetings that Google has every Friday is probably going to be moved to Thursday to support the Asian Googlers. So it's going to be TGIF no longer. It's going to be TGIT. That being said, the next thing up is that Google, it seems like there's a movie coming out about Google, starred by Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson. It's going to be called The Internship. It's going to be about 2 sales reps that decide to go into the tech world. They know nothing about tech. And it seems like Google is very closely tied to this movie. It's coming out on January 7th. It's directed by Sean Levy. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Finally, Google had a great logo this week for the Zamboni, Frank Zamboni's 112th birthday, I believe. And he obviously created the ice ring, what's it called? Ice ring resurfer, which is known as the Zamboni. I went ahead and did the Zamboni, I'm sorry. I went ahead and did the played it for a while, and after 9 minutes, I'm like, forget this. I decided to run out of gas. But it's very, very cool. You can take a look at the logo, and it's actually live if you want to take a look at it still at the Google Doodle directory. But we have a post about it with videos on January 16th at seroundtable.com. Anyway, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz. This is search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Bye.